Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. Today we have something a little bit different. This is the Ulysse Nardin Freak X Ops, sent to me by Ulysse Nardin itself. You're looking at a factory demonstrator, so the watch you get will actually be a little bit better in every detail. So while I can't sell you this one, I do have access, and if you'd like to start a discussion, please reach out to me, Team Mosso at the 1916company.com, to get the freak ball rolling. So the Freak X bowed back in 2019, a freak with a crown and an automatic winding system. It immediately became the most attractive point of entry to Ulysse Nardin's most famous model line. UN, now owned by its management, bought back from the group that had owned it prior, is going to make about 10,000 watches a year, of which about 10% will be the Freak, and that's all varieties, the S, the 1, and the Freak X. So each will be quite exclusive, and this watch radiates independent horology, cool, and energy. Of course, the Freak X Ops, part of late 2023 for 2024 model year launch. This series tactically, militarily inspired. We have subdued anti-glare tones, khaki green strap. We have a carbon fiber composite sheath on either side with the resin in khaki green, and you can see no two of these will be exactly alike because of the way the resin and the fibers come to rest. The watch is 43 millimeters in diameter by 14.3 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 49.5 millimeters with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. This watch is actually on a strap that is too small for me, but if you want to see how it wears, I have other visits to the Freak world on this channel, and you can see how I wear the Freak X in separate videos also featuring the Freak X. All of them have the same dimensions. Although I can give you an approximate look on the wrist, you can see it is a large watch, though it's not as large as the other Freaks. This is the smallest Freak since the 2001 original, so expect that if your wrist is my size, or maybe even 15 centimeters circumference, this watch is going to fit just fine. The strap is high grade. This is something that Ulysse Nardin takes pride in, recycled fishing nets being used to constitute their textile straps. Now we've got Velcro, which means effectively you've got infinite adjustability. Just make sure you get a strap size that fits you. Hardware is titanium. That's true of the watch generally. The crown features the UN anchor logo. They want you to remember that during the 19th and early 20th centuries, they made their name with marine chronometers or deck clocks used for marine navigation. And then you have a little marine chronometer style number plate held by screws on the opposite side. The case features a strong but simple lines, as you can see. This is a factory demonstrator, so there is some wear and tear. This is not the watch you'll get. The watch you get will be quite a bit better, but I can't help what Hodinkee does when they review watches, and unfortunately, this one has been through the mill. But you can see how well it's held up, and that including Ulysse Nardin's unique full silicone escapement, hairspring, and balance wheel. I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself here, though. Let's talk about what's outside. Not only do we have that sheathing of carbon fiber composite and the titanium core to the case, but this is one of the most water-resistant Freaks of all time. Historically, they've had 0 water resistance. Then they had 30. Now this one has 50. I still don't recommend you swim with it, but it's a bit more peace of mind if you splash or to get caught out in the rain. There is a huge boxed and cambered sapphire that looks like a bubble, almost like a plexiglass. And then we get to the main event, which is the baguette caliber. Everything that you need to run a movement, save the power source, is right here on the minute hand. And you can see how this works. There is a ring gear, and then there is an adjacent wheel and pinion, and that allows the hour hand and the minute hand, respectively, to traverse the dial. It is what's sometimes described as a carousel tourbillon or a carousel, where there are separate power supplies for the carriage and the escapement, which is why moving the whole carriage doesn't crash the escapement. I know there will be some questions here, so let's answer them. The watch is loomed, and quite well loomed, in spite of the darkness of the variant of Luminova used on the hands. We have primarily satin finish on the muted tones of the dial. You can see that there is a nice stack to the height and depth of the carousel assembly, and we have a full escapement in silicone that's coated with synthetic diamond to reduce to a bare minimum the need for any kind of lubrication. It also reduces oscillating mass and the influence of magnetism. To that end, we also have an anti-magnetic silicone hairspring and a full silicone balance with variable inertia masses for fine adjustment, and then white gold outer masses or winglets to provide the majority of the oscillating weight. Now you can see it's free sprung, so both more precise to adjust finely and then also more shock tolerant. What's interesting about the silicone here is not only does it reduce the unnecessary mass, the need for lubrication, and the effect of magnetism on the watch, but Ulysse Nardin, through its Sigatech subsidiary, is probably the smallest company in Switzerland that is able to make its own silicone rather than buy it from a larger supplier. So deeply impressive that. On the case back, you can see we have a automatic winding system, and this is a 72-hour power reserve. If you look carefully, you can see that there are ceramic balls in the bearing. It's called a hybrid ceramic bearing with ceramic balls and steel races. Adjacent to it, you can see a magic lever-style pawl-based winding system that is extremely sensitive to rotor movement and very efficient in winding. You can also see this is a 21 joule movement. It beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour. Ulysse Nardin certified, meaning the watch has gone through an extensive battery of tests as a fully assembled timepiece rather than a bare movement. And critically, part of that test includes assuring that the watch loses 0 seconds per day. The watch is full of fun and features, and it is undeniably a freak. Although not bezel set or case back wound, the combination of a conventional crown and an automatic winding system makes this a very friendly everyday watch to wear. And in case you still haven't figured it out, that is 9 o'clock on the nose. If you'd like to see more, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.